Welcome to Real Talk with Liza, evoking thoughts, embracing change, and evolving lives. Liza Boubari is your expert in women's wellness and personal growth, offering practical tips to break emotional blocks, reset limiting beliefs, and take control of your life. With over 20 years of experience, Liza delivers actionable guidance to help you navigate challenges, break old patterns, and thrive, empowering you to face life with confidence and clarity. You'll leave each show with real tools to transform your mindset and your life. Ready to take the next step? Call 818-221-2797 or visit realtalk870.com to connect. And now, your host, Liza Boubari.
Greetings, and welcome to Real Talk with Liza, where we think deeply, feel fully, and live boldly. This is where we make an impact with one conversation at a time. No matter where you are right now, on the road, at home, or somewhere in between, I'm so grateful that you have joined me for a conversation that truly matters. Here on Real Talk, we explore topics that touch the heart, stir the mind, and elevate the spirit. We talk about things that affect our mental, emotional, physical, and yes, our spiritual well-being. Because life is not one-dimensional, and we're not one-dimensional either. Neither are our stories that we get to share. So, for those of you who have been celebrating this day, I wish you a happy Father's Day. And tonight's guest is someone incredibly special to me. And I called him about a few days ago. It was about 3 days ago. And I said, you've been on my mind because of all the people in the world, I could not think of a better person because to me, you're father to thousands. Arick Gevorkian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me.
May I have a few moments to do my own way of introduction? Arick is a father, mentor, humanitarian, a gifted musician, accordion, and lifelong servant of his community. A man who has quietly and powerfully helped shape the lives of thousands of youth across generations. He is Arick Gevorkian. From London to Los Angeles, from the scout camps to city council, Arick has led with heart and humility, living his motto, elevate yourself and others with you. But he's also a father who has faced unimaginable loss, and from that grief found a deeper mission to protect and empower youth. In 2021, Arick and his family lost their beloved son, Tevan, to an accidental fentanyl exposure at just 19 years old. We're going to talk about all that later. But that moment shook not only their world, but the community that had grown up around them. So tonight, this Father's Day, we talk about fatherhood in its truest form, loving, guiding, mentoring, grieving, and choosing life.
Absolutely.
And, it's not so much about your bio, it's who you are. It's not the titles, it's not the labels. Because I remember 10 years ago, I made a phone call and I said, I want to start my nonprofit. And you said, what is it about? I said, children. You said, say no more.
Correct.
So let us talk about, we're both from Iran, but everything that it's happening nowadays to LA. You share your version, your story of the beginning.
Well, the beginning, my beginning.
Yeah, your beginning from the day that you were here.
Well, I'm an immigrant myself, and immigrated from Iran to England for higher education.
Correct.
With a scholarship, and then
When did you come to LA? I mean, US.
First time was 1981. First time was 1976. My grandfather brought me to Disneyland when tickets were $28. And but then we went back. I went to a boarding school in South England, and then college. And 81 came as a tourist visa, but I needed to come as a student visa. I went back, then I got a student visa with an I-20, and came in
Right.
1982. And I've been here since. And from the first day, I was involved with the Boy Scouts of America, Armenian Boy Scouts, the community. It has always been. I always wanted to share whatever they had.
I call you a man of service.
Thank you. And I learned that from, to be honest with you, I learned that from, first of all, my grandfather, who practically raised me from age 13 and 14, when my father tragically passed away in a hotel fire in Amsterdam, Holland. But then with mom and grandpa, who was a survivor of the Armenian genocide, raised in Ukraine, I always want to give back to the community. That's why I heavily got involved with the Boy Scouts of America, the Armenian Scouts, what have you, and just took it from there. And school, balanced the school.
Were you also a part of scouting back in Iran?
I was very little, in a very, very short time.
Okay.
But because I left when I was very young.
Young.
Yeah. But everything I owe it to Home and its Men, the Armenian General Athletic Union and Scouts, and
Right.
other youth organizations.
Okay.
And that's it. That's from there. Then, years back, I was with the commission, City of Glendale, other cities, and what have you, working with different agencies and what have you.
Exactly.
It's just we did cross-cultural festivals with the Korean community, with the
That's
Latino
true.
community.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
true. Yes.
So everybody
we
was
worked in many of the organizations, similar organizations
absolutely
at the same
with a
time.
fantastic Korean community, fantastic
Yes.
Latino community. So it's just been when you turn around, it's been 40 years. That's what it is.
We came 1976, so it's almost 49 years, half a century.
Yeah.
This is where we are, immigrants making home, and this becomes our home base.
And contributing back to the community.
Exactly.
And the host country. Because again, everybody, it's a cliche. United States was founded and built by the immigrants,
Exactly.
and we have very, very successful immigrants in the sense of not successful as far as how much dollar amount they have, but successful as far as
Making an impact.
making an impact in science, in youth, education, music,
Invention.
inventions. Also, I want to give a shout out to Rebecca Schultz Lanning. She's from East Coast. She's watching. She's a PhD phenomenal musicologist, and she follows Gomidas.
Wow.
Fantastic lady.
Actually, for all our viewers and listeners, you may call in at any time because our phone lines are open, and you can call at 870-5752. So, Arick, when you reflect on your journey from London to Glendale, what inspired you to give so much of yourself to the community, but being raised with our culture, who we are, first and foremost, as an Armenian from Iran, now an American? How do you attribute your giving? And there was a time I know your family felt like, okay, you give more outside to the youth, to the community, and everyone. And you were a lot absent because of your graciousness and compassion.
In the meantime, that seems from the outside, but I've always been there for my two children.
I know.
I've always been there, but I've been an activist. And part of it because I lost my dad at a very young age. That had an impact on me.
How old were you?
I was 14.
Wow.
14, 15. And tragically, for a young engineer caught in a fire, and the hotel collapsed in Amsterdam. So that was part of me that I wanted to belong to a group. But part of it that I always tell my students and tell my youth and my juniors, and, I'm a journey director, I'm a camp director, what have you, and I always ask them, do you know why we do this? Why are we volunteers? And the answer for that is because somebody, Lisa, did it for me. Somebody took the time and did it for me. So all I'm doing, I'm just passing forward the torch. That's all. And when you volunteer, you shouldn't have any expectations. You're just doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Because you choose to.
You choose to, especially last 30 years, but especially the last 4 years that I have actually doubled and tripled what I do
Right.
because as much as people, they always say thank you. No, I thank the youth that give me the opportunity to spend time with them, to mentor them, to coach them, to teach
Right.
them. Because every time I start a class, I learn from them too.
Of course.
The generations have changed.
Of course. Who was your mentor growing up? Did
I
you
had
have-
two mentors. They were both they were both scouts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One started scouting in Iran. My uncle,
Oh,
Leonidas Ohanian. Our family's history goes back to 800 years in Iran, not 400 years during the.
your family or
My mom's family goes
Wow.
back to 800 years in Iran. And my second mentor that really took me under his wings was Arick Gevorkian, who was also started the scouting in London, in England, Armenian scouting. And I was with him till the last minute when he passed away. And I always mention their names because I want the youth to always understand, never ever forget who held
Held.
your hand and walked with you and was there all the time. And educators across our nation here, they can resonate with that. That
Of course.
we are more than educators. We
you know,
yeah.
I've got a story of my own about a teacher who made an impact in my life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to go on a commercial in a moment. But I want to say when I came from Iran over here, I was at the junior high school, Wilson. And there was a teacher by the name of Jo Willoughby. And she was my art teacher. During lunch, we had gone across the bridge, but the bridge is not there anymore. And we were smoking, and there was this Hispanic girl that was bullying me all the time. So she had a marijuana, and she gave it to me, and she says, hey, you do this, you smoke this. So I took a puff, and then not knowing, I thought it was cigarettes, not knowing what it was. The two friends of mine, Mark and Bill, they looked at me and it's like, no way. So we come back to the class, art class, and the entire time I was laughing. She took me outside and she says, Lisa, did you do something at lunch that you were not supposed to? And I was laughing. She said, who was it? And I couldn't tell. I was laughing so hard. She said, okay, you go and sit over there. She called the next class, which was a history class, and told the history teacher I will not be going there. She kept me in there until evening, before recession. By that time, I couldn't. And you know what she said? This is the power of words and a teacher when we look up to. You're already a happy girl. You no longer need this to be happy. Promise me you never touch this, and I never, ever touched it again. I was already a happy girl. Thank you to Jo Willoughby. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Okay, you're clear?
Is something weighing on your heart? A decision, a fear, or a challenge you can't shake? Let's talk about
As
it.
soon as you guys
Because your
get back
story
in, I'll go
matters.
talk to this
Join
caller.
me Sundays at 10 p.m.
I have to
for
go to the
Real
other
Talk with
rooms.
Lisa, where we evoke, embrace, and evolve.
Well, there's somebody
one
there. Hopefully they want to
conversation
talk.
at a time. Our phone lines are open. Call in now at 866-870-5752 and let's have a conversation. Now back to Real Talk with Liza.
Mike's alive.
Welcome back. This is Liza and my special guest, Arick, here today. Arick, let's talk about something else. Music as a bridge for healing and identity. As a composer, a choir director, accordion player, have you seen music help you feel safer and more expressive and connected? Music brings everybody together. But when you sit, I've seen you in the classrooms and the way you do it. Is music the way you bring people together?
Music, the writer uses a piece of paper to write, right? The painter uses a canvas to paint. So I always tell our youth, my school, my 6th through 10th graders, express yourself through music. Express your anger through music. Express your joy through music. You get a couple of pieces of wood and hit them together, or drumsticks, or rhythm sticks, and what have you. My original instrument was a drum. Then my father said, you got to learn the accordion. So everybody during their birthday would get, bicycles and Atari games. I would get an accordion or a bandoneon. But then I took up piano. But yes, music brings kids together because they express themselves, especially with special needs children.
Wow.
Music truly, I can't mention names, but I had a student for 4 years that wouldn't sing, she would just shout, and I would sit her down and go through music. And then last year, I said, there's an audition for a song. I need soloists. She raised her hand, and I had a split second to make a decision. Are the kids going to make fun of her? Is she going to be embarrassed? I have a video of that. So I, with the permission of the parent.
Yes.
And she sang that song, A to Z. And while I was playing the piano, I was sobbing. I was crying that how this kid found through music the courage to stand in front of a classroom of 30 kids, 20-something kids.
We have a special caller on line 1.
So
we have a caller on line 1, and Talene from Los Angeles. You're on the air. Hi, Talene.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I wanted to surprise your guest speaker today, Mr. Arick Gevorkian, my dad, my mentor, my hero, my leader. Happy Father's Day.
thank you, Talene. Thank you.
I love you so much. You mean the world to not only me, but you've impacted so many people. And honestly, I don't know what else to say to justify how involved he's been in not just my life, my brother's life, but also every other youth organization kid's life. So I'm a loss for words, but I'm so proud of him for always giving back no matter what, how busy he is and what he's going through. He always puts his community and his culture and his family first, and he's a huge hero to me for that. So
okay, he's got his eyes watery, and I've got tears coming down because it's so genuinely who Arick is. And thank you, my dears. You are a heart of grace yourself, sweetheart, and congratulations for your graduation as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't want to bother the show. It's wonderful.
It's not at all. It's not at all. Thank you for your call.
Thank you for taking my call. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Talene John. I appreciate it, Talene.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So music being such a powerful force, especially for our youth, can you share a moment where music transformed I know you shared about her, which is amazing because, they say when someone is autistic, it also helps them express and talk. I work with autistic children and another one is dementia.
Dementia, correct.
Music, because it's already a part of them, dancing and music, and they may not remember some of the things that is happening at the present, but you put the music and it's just like they get this inner self opens up and comes alive, and they get up and dance. They know how to play piano or their instrument.
They do.
Please share.
I can share with you years ago when my both grandparents were in a assisted living. I would
Right.
go every Saturday and play piano for them, for everyone, not them.
Right.
And when you talk about this, grandmas, grandpas, that they used to be kings and queens in their own homes, and now they're in assisted living.
Right.
And once I started playing, then they would approach me, and they would hit the key on the right or the left hand side, or they would start singing, and the nurses would look at me like, this gentleman hasn't spoken for the last God knows how long, or they would start dancing,
Movement.
the movement and everything, and they would come and I remember one lady came and said, "Can you play Dr. Zhivago for me?" And I don't know how old she was, and I said, "Sure, I would." And it's just music. There's the magic, but also you have to understand it's how you transfer that to your audience. It's very, very important. How you portray. Music has no boundaries. World music, non-Western music, ancient music. It's how you cater to your audience,
Right.
how passionate you are about it. It's and not only you entice them to go and start peeling that the onion and understand the power of music.
Right.
All
All
performing
genre?
art, all performing arts,
Right.
visual performing arts,
Exactly.
they're all very powerful tools. And unfortunately, we don't pay enough attention at schools about that. We cut funding for visual performing arts.
I know.
But luckily, in the school that I teach right now, we have an entire department. We have a
Music.
dance and music and everything, and then and we should advocate this.
Exactly. Well, a few months ago, I was principal for the day.
Oh, you were okay.
Right. And I went to CV High, Crescento Valley.
Beautiful.
Oh, what a beautiful music department they
They have a
have.
fantastic charismatics. The choir and
The choir, their band, their marching band, everything. I was in awe. And I came back and all I could do is rave about the school and the cleanliness and everything that is happening. And it's such a joy to work with children. I work with children from 6 years old for fear factors, anxiety factors. That's one of the things. I mean, I've got a 9-year-old that came a few months ago with a bedwetting, and the intention was bringing mom and dad that they were separated. By doing that, he was bringing them together, even though they argued. To his mind, he came back to home and they're sitting in the kitchen, they're talking about him, so they're together again. So, we did some hypnosis and he stopped bedwetting me. I said, "You're already a grown man. You can be the man of the house now. And it's okay because now you have 2 happy homes." So it's amazing what children take in
their
consciously.
sponges. How do you do it? Remember we used to do drum circles. Remember that?
Exactly.
And
The drum circles
I used to do
and
that,
the
stage-
sound bath.
The sound bath
with the kids.
Absolutely.
And they love trying this. And then when they make the sound, it's like, I did it.
I have after school music exploration.
10 seconds.
And you should see how they create things,
Of
create
course.
sounds and music. But we'll come back, we'll talk about it.
We'll be right back. The phone lines are open, 866-870-5752. Give us a call. Yeah. Welcome back. This is Liza, and today's segment is truly Father's Day. But more importantly, we're going to dive into something that is more gentle, hopeful. Arick, if you're open to sharing, tell us about Tevan, because who he was and what made him so special. Not that everybody else's child is not, but we're going to be talking about this with so many pressures, social media, anxiety, substance exposure. What do you believe our youth are more missing? And let's share about Tevan.
So, as you know, the last 3.5 years, I've been very open about going, especially in Southern California, even Northern California, and talking about a subject of one night, one mistake. And part of it, because of the dissemination of information through devices and smartphones, that the information is readily available to everyone. And they can get their hands on anything and everything through social media platforms, Snapchat, you name it.
Everything
right?
gets delivered.
So the entire community knows we lost our beloved son, 19 years old, Eagle Scout, basketball player, avid golf player that always wanted to convince me to play golf, and then to me it was a boring game. I was saying, Bob, come on, you have to learn. I said, too old for this. A great student, a youth counselor, an avid Boy Scout leader that went to, started in the private Armenian school, then went to Shamilian Van and Anu Shamilian school. Then from there, he wanted to go to Lacaniada High to play football.
Okay.
Great circle of friends, camping, hikes, international jamborees, you name it.
Adored.
And he really was. He really was very, very adored. But we lost him to fentanyl. Not because he was a user, because a pill that he took from a friend as a relaxation, it's a relaxing pain, was laced with oxycodone and fentanyl, and he died in 8 to 10 minutes. I was in Sacramento. I was lecturing and training a nonprofit organization for battered women. So we got the news. It devastated us, devastated my wife, myself, the entire community. He was very much involved with the community and Tallinn as a sister.
Right.
So the pain that I had endured during my teenage years as losing a father to an accident, now I lost a son that was at that age that we could, talk about birds and the bees and
Right.
clean guy, very, very courteous, very, very polite. He was a community activist too. He was the counselor at AYF camp and what have you. Huge
It's
circle
not
of
that
friends.
he was depressed. It's not that he
No.
was neglected. When people think of the norm, he was beyond, had nothing to do with.
My problem has been with the community or with the cliches that when Tevan passed away, the first thing the bots from overseas, they get this information, and the first thing is the OD, and OD has a bad connotation, no, overdose.
Overdose.
Yeah. And we have become desensitized. I mean, we are not sensitive anymore to it. That overdose doesn't mean that you are a user of some sort of a banned substance or whatever. But the thing is that it came to a point that I had to shed light and share part of my experience and go around Southern California through different churches, Armenian and non, schools, Armenian and non,
Right.
and also partner with Glendale PD, LAPD, different law enforcement, because we partnered in a sense that when you bring a law enforcement, a peace officer with a uniform, that has a different effect on a child, because I usually lecture between 8th grades and seniors, 8 through 12. But when I get up there and I talk about, okay, what happens when you make a bad choice? When you give in to a friend and you agree to use something.
Is this like a group session? Is this like a speaking in an auditorium with the children?
It's a speaking with an auditorium.
Or in a class?
It's speaking with an auditorium.
Okay.
And I've done it in many, many schools. And I'm also available if any other schools want to call me.
Right.
It's a community service that I do.
Okay.
And I talk about fathers and mothers and sisters and grandmas feeling what happens when you bury that child. What happens that after that child is gone, you still get letters in the mail for transferring his credits or subscription to his golf club, or what happens when you go to a new doctor, and it happens to me all the time. I go to a new doctor, and the first thing they ask you, okay, you have to fill out an application. How many children do you have? What do you do? So I write 2. For 2 years we could not delete Tevan's name from our insurance. His room is still intact. His hamper is full. His uniforms and jerseys. He had loads of basketball shoes. But I talk to our youth about what happens to the people that are grieving and have to keep you alive.
You
and
went
it
through the
drains me.
stages of the grief, from the denial to the anger to
All of that I share with them. It's a 45-minute, and I'm being very honest with them.
Can you share what you went through? So for our audience, the listeners.
What my family and we went through, my wife and I, and Talene and my mom, it was at the beginning we were disbelief.
Of course.
Talene was the first one that went in, because he didn't come home. And he would text every hour or so. So Talene is one of the first ones. Then my mom, I was in Sacramento, and I couldn't get a flight out because I couldn't change my flight. So then I had to fly instead of Burbank, flew into John Wayne. But first you are in disbelief that, come on, really? That you always hear this afterwards that, you've done so many things for thousands of kids you have raised. It shouldn't have happened to you. I said, it shouldn't have happened to any parent. All right. And yes, because of, my status, my family, what we've done in the community and everything, they were all in disbelief. That, is it Tevan? They wouldn't. So the first few days you're in disbelief. Then you start reorganizing your brain. In the meantime, everybody comes to your home. Everybody hugs you.
I remember coming to your home and you were sitting with his friends.
Yes.
Instead of with everybody else.
I was last night with his friends too. We were at a wedding. I was with their table.
Yeah.
Their friends, their loyal friends. Then you start, what did I do wrong? Then you realize it's nothing about you. He didn't do anything wrong either. He just, when we were young, we've done so many things that I remember that I should have, many times I would have just, fall off the cliff because of the thing. But these days, the mistakes are deadly because of what goes around.
Potent.
It's potent. So then you start grieving, but it's not really grieving. You're still angry. 3.5 years has passed, and not a single day goes by that we don't think about it.
Of course.
That I don't talk to him. Then I believe that we do see signs and everything. Life goes on. They say pain makes it easy. No, pain doesn't make it easy. Pain teaches you that your daily life is integrated with that pain. And you live you put a mask on in the morning, you get out. And you go do your best. So instead of me sitting down grieving and bleeding inside, I turned around with the help of my wife
And how is Anita doing?
Anita is doing the pain of a mother is totally different.
Of course.
Okay, They say, no, 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 no. The pain of a mother, when you carry that child for 9 months, and then, but if you're there for each other, we did everything with everything. If you're there for each other, you feel empowered. That we lost a child physically, but he's up there. He's probably not right.
Watching
And
us.
he would say, "Bob, really?" That was his thing. But he would always say, "Live 1,000 years."
Right.
And I have that tattoo on my hands.
Exactly.
Because he cared everyone. He would care for every single soul. He would care for the animals at San Diego Zoo. Why do they have these whales here? They should free them from childhood, 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
But we were lucky enough that he lived with us for 19 years.
And you started an organization so that other parents, others can have more resources.
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
it's a website. His birthday, it's called Tevan321.org.
Tevan?
Tevan, T-E-V-A-N. And they can go there. It's our story there. The resources, I occasionally update it.
Right. I saw some of the videos.
Yeah, I give my phone number freely for any youth, any person that needs to talk, needs someone to call.
And parents?
And parents. I'm there.
For our listeners that are
Absolutely, absolutely. The thing is that I lost my child to being accidentally exposed to a very deadly substance. But if we can help, if you need me to talk to your child, if you need me to talk to you, again, every time that I do these lectures, one night, one mistake, it drains me. It really does. Then I go home and, but that's the only way that I can just keep him alive, and so he didn't die in vain.
That's right. I remember during COVID, one of the things that I was very distraught was because we were not going out or anything. Unfortunately, the people, the pushers and all that, they learned everybody's home address. And that became one of the worst things that happened.
Correct.
Our children had everything being delivered to their home, and they put not only themselves in jeopardy, their siblings in jeopardy, their family in jeopardy, because I know of a family that was in a very bad shape. They would not leave them alone, and they kept.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I know 312 is his birthday, March 12th, and
Yeah.
that's why the date.
Actually, March 1st.
Oh, okay. It's 3/1/2021.
Correct.
Okay, that's where the March 1st.
Oh, yeah.
3/1. What a powerful number. You know, if you are interested, it is www.TEVAN
TEVAN.
312.org. Share, get involved. If you have any questions, 866-870-5752. We'll be right back.
Clear.
Is something weighing on your heart? A decision, a fear, or a challenge you can't shake? Let's talk about it, because your story matters. Join me Sundays at 10 p.m. for Real Talk with Liza, where we evoke, embrace, and
When we get
evolve
back in,
one
I will see
conversation
who's calling
at a
in.
time. Our phone lines are open. Call in now at 866-870-5752. And let's have a conversation. Now back to Real Talk with Liza.
All right, here we go. Mike's going live.
Welcome back. This is Liza Boubari, and you are on Real Talk with Liza. Every week I come here at 10 o'clock every Sunday to bring you information and share impactful stories of life that is real, things that help you live a healthier and a happier life. So getting back to living legacy and closing reflections, what does it mean to you now more than ever to be a father? Excuse me.
Father, there's a big difference between a father, being a father, and
And
being
a
a dad.
dad. Yes.
All right.
How do we know what we're
When
going to talk? I mean,
when my daughter came back this morning, she flew back from Orlando, Tallinn, and she said, "Dad, with mom, we want to take you to breakfast and everything." In the meantime, you always have to understand that nothing replaces any child. And I'm blessed to have Tallinn in my life. She's my daughter, as you know. She got her master's music management, music industry management. Everybody says you did it. I said I didn't. It was her choice. But being a father, it's the biggest. If it's the biggest thing a guy can have.
gift.
A gift, or actually a merit badge. Let's say a merit badge, because you continue to nourish that child, and down the road when they achieve something, whether it's school, whether it's a trade, whether it's being a whatever, it's the only thing that you're left with.
right.
It's your legacy.
Of course.
Okay, so that's why being a father is the best thing that had happened to me. All the fathers, happy Father's Day to everyone.
Yes.
But it's a humongous responsibility.
And there are so many who are absent and or have left that responsibility.
Yes.
Have a Debbie from Whittier.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just
We do have a call. Let's take this call. Debbie from Whittier. You're on the air. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Lisa. Let me get to the phone. I was walking in and out unloading groceries like I seem to always be doing at this time. And I heard your guest,
Yes.
and in and out, pieces of I had a boy, or I didn't know who he lost at first, but the person had a lot of shoes and friends. And
Yes.
I also lost my boy. So last time I told you about my other losses because it was pertinent. And happy Father's Day to Tobin's daddy.
thank you
Was
for
that-
sharing. It's for you just to
I
share
am so
that.
sorry about your share.
It's and I'm glad you called in. You had the courage to call in and share that, because
I feel so silly calling in, talking
no.
in public.
Remember that when I started talking about my son, everybody was saying, "Why are you doing this? Why are you exposing this?" But it's the way that, one, you keep your child alive, one,
Yes.
and two, you share their story, so it makes a difference for other parents and other children and other youth. It's not silly. It takes such a big heart to be able to get on, live stream or on a radio, on a TV, and say, "You know what? I lost a child.
And I know your pain.
And I know your pain. At least I can feel your pain." Many people would say, "We know what you're feeling." No, if you haven't lost a child, you don't know you don't know what it is.
And I feel like excuse me. I feel like there's different degrees of the loss. It sounds like, did your son overdose? Is that?
No, my son was accidentally exposed to a fentanyl given to him by a friend. So, but regardless, we all make choices, and he had a
Right.
choice that he made. He made one mistake, which is called one night, one mistake.
I heard that.
And regardless of what the consequences, and no parent should bury a child. It should be other
Right.
way around.
Right. I just shared him in the parking lot at the store. I mean, shared about him. I do. That's what I often do, and I have pictures of him in my Bible. They're still in there.
Beautiful,
Some are
Debbie.
older. Some are his last beautiful pictures. He had taken. Somebody took amazing pictures of him, and it's maybe it's your way of healing, and it's my way of healing and keeping them alive.
Absolutely.
And I love that his room. I tried to keep his room.
Absolutely.
But I didn't because my friend had needed it, so I let them stay in his room, and I kind of, it still would have been his room, but
Yeah.
I needed to share that. I think the Lord just allowed that, so I wouldn't have this,
Beautiful.
I don't know what it would have been by now. It's been quite a few years, and sometimes I don't want to even count, but I know what it is because it's a kind of a big milestone. And then my nephews have stayed there, and kind of their things are in there, and but yes, I heard Tobin, and what a beautiful name. My boy was Clinton, and then he wanted to be called
Aw.
Clint when he was in high school, tired of being teased for the name Clinton.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for sharing your story, and I was listening intently since I've been in the house for the last time.
Thank you, Debbie.
Hi,
God bless her
Lisa.
soul
It's
also.
me
Thank you.
again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing that I want to share, we belong to a club, you and I, or and many other thousand parents, that we find ourselves that on daily basis, there we mention their names in context and out of context in conversations. It's automatically comes when I'm teaching my students. I'm a music teacher, or
Oh.
you just because it's automatically because they're still alive.
Of
Once we
course.
don't mention their name, then they're truly dead.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I believe my son is alive.
Absolutely.
He's more alive now than ever, and he's with Jesus, and he changed my life. This little baby changed my life because
Beautiful.
So
I
happy you
didn't
just
feel,
shared your
Thank
feelings.
you.
selfless.
Thank you for your share, Debbie.
Thank you, Liza. Thank you for having your. What is your name, sir?
My name is Arick Gevorkian. It's an Eric with an A.
Oh,
Arick Gevorkian.
oh, Gevorkian.
Yes.
That sounds familiar. Thank you, Arick, for sharing. God bless you. Thank
God
you,
bless you.
Lisa.
God
Thank
bless you too.
And God
Again,
may
thank
always, your son's memory will live forever. Trust me on that.
Share a picture with Lisa. I have her email,
All right.
and she can share it with you.
Okay, thank you. So, I know we talked about that, and we talked about Tevon, and what does it take to be a leader? How do we lead? How do you lead
Before you
from
become
here?
a leader, you have to know how to follow.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Yep.
Is everybody does everybody know how to
Lead?
be a follower?
No.
Exactly.
No. Unfortunately, most of the time, everyone wants to be a leader. But to lead, first you have to listen. You have to understand needs and wants. You have to know that a leader cannot lead by himself or herself. Okay? Leader leads, but you have to have an open mind to have people follow you so you can lead them. And you have to be able to give that leadership to someone else, and you follow that someone else. You got to have a succession plan in anything that you want.
It's like the chairman of the board, but there's the president, there's the managers, there's the operation managers, and then down the line.
Correct.
But the chairman of the board has the power, and yet it's everybody else that runs.
And Churchill used to say, change is good,
Change
but
is
changing often is the best.
Wow. Wow. I hadn't heard that one.
Yes.
That was okay. Listeners, would you please repeat that? Change is good, but
Change is good. That was Winston Churchill. Change is good, and it's online. You can
Right.
change is good. I use that always, but changing often is the best. That you often change,
Of course,
and people really
from
are,
leaders
from
all the way
leaders,
down.
because
We change our clothes. We change everything every
and I
single
believe
day.
if you're at a position too long, then you become stale. Then you can't lead anymore. Especially in this ever-changing world, that
Right.
everything is in nanoseconds.
Right.
You gotta be.
With
you have to
AI
be
and
open.
everything.
Everything. You have to be open, and this is what I teach my juniors too.
Beautiful. Well, that brings us very close to almost to the end of. See how fast this hour went?
Unbelievable,
I
correct.
mean, this is unbelievable. It's like everybody asks me, do you really stay on the radio for an hour? And I'm going, it goes like this.
He does. He does.
So thank you for being here, not just as a guest, as a friend, as a father, as a community leader, but you are light. You are. You shed a light with one tune. You've shown us that leadership is quite steadfast and deeply human, and that even from the heartbreak, we can build something meaningful, something that saves lives. And for every father listening, whether you're guiding a household or guiding hearts, you matter. To those missing a father or a child tonight, we hold you. And to those stepping up to love others as your own, we thank you. Because Father's Day, this is my quote every week. A truly rich man is one whose children run into his arms when his arms are empty.
Absolutely.
And that's by an unknown. And I want to say, I love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for everyone that was watching on live on my Facebook of sharing this, for your beautiful comments that it's online, and for the opportunity, Lisa. You are. I've known you a long, long time, and you've always been somebody that cares for the community. I've seen you in action.
10.
So
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Happy Father's
Arick
Day.
is? Arick is?
Okay. Arick is Arick.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.